Hi everybody, it is 5 p.m. on the West Coast and 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and it is Thursday, so we're here once again in the Learning Wing at Online Techniques. Welcome everybody. We have for you tonight the third in our series about content distribution, and this one is about Onlywire. Before we get going, I just want to I want to mention a little thing. A couple things. Number one, I'm not the swiftest person with with multitasking, and so I'm not too good at watching the text chat at the same time as I'm doing this stuff. So if I miss a question or stuff like that, just understand that it's because I don't want to sound like an idiot or fall off my chair as I try to do two things at once. So we will have a question and answer period at the end if there's anything that you've got that hasn't been answered by the time we get to it. The second thing is, because of the way that I do these videos, I like the presentation to be what you see when you see the training video. So I'm only recording part of the screen when I do these things. And sometimes when I go from just doing the presentation to doing desktop sharing, then what happens is I have to actually break the video for a minute. And sometimes when that happens, I'll come out with 3 videos that I have to put together, but they come out much better that way. The quality's much better. And so you guys here in the room, when we get to the desktop sharing part, you may have to put up with a couple minutes of me reconfiguring things and stuff like that. But it'll make for a better video when you want to refer to it later in the Learning Wing. So that said, welcome. Hey, hi, Shirley. We have been talking for a couple weeks now about content distribution as a traffic strategy, as a traffic generation strategy. And we've gone over actually quite a bit of stuff so far. We're going to do just a quick review. The first week in session 1, we talked about a concept called repurposing content, and just sort of getting it through our heads, just getting a couple things through our heads. And one is that when you come up with one piece of content, why not repurpose it into other forms? Instead of, okay, I wrote a blog post, now I'm going to go do a video about something completely different, and now I'm going to write an article over here about something completely different. So if we can get a couple of things through our head, one is that, instead of just creating pieces of content here and there and here and there, why not do something like start with an article and then take the article as the basis for several blog posts, and then develop 2 or 3 or 4 videos out of those blog posts that you can distribute. These are all different content forms. And then you can make an audio file that you can distribute as a podcast. And you could even blow this up even further, create PDF files, create a PowerPoint presentation. There's different places to share those, and we've gone over those. So that, there's lots of different forms of content on the internet. And they range from slide presentations to audio files and video and, all sorts of different things. So rather than just making one piece of content that goes in one place and then moving on to something different, why don't we take that piece of content and make it into a lot of different forms, basically the same information? And we went over a way of doing that in the first week. If you haven't seen it, it is live in the Learning Wing in the recorded training sessions. Both number 1 and number 2 are up in the Learning Wing. The other thing about repurposing content is it makes you think about the things that you're doing in a more organized way. In other words, instead of just, today I'll write a blog post, and today I'll do an article, and then I'll do a video here about this and that. That's good, but it's a scattershot kind of approach to everything. And you will get traffic from those kind of things. But if you can organize things into what I like to think of as a campaign, a traffic campaign that consists of many different kinds of content, all focused on the same thing, all bringing people to the same blog post, for instance, then you're going to do much better. You'll maximize the power of your content. So that's what we talked about in the first week. Now, last week, we went over all sorts of places where you can distribute content on the web, and all sorts of different forms that content can take. There's a list in here in the shared files folder in this conference room of literally hundreds of places that you can go and put your content up on the web. Now, for instance, we talked about if you had a blog on your own domain. I have stevegaghagen.com. Well, I also have a blog. I also have a blog over at WordPress.com. I have several blogs over at Blogger.com. And when I put a blog post on my stevegaghagen.com, there's no reason why I can't alter it just a little and put it over on one of my Blogger blogs and stick it over on my WordPress.com blog. This is distribution of content. And one of the things we talked about was social bookmarking. Now, this involves bookmarking sites like Reddit or Propeller or Delicious. And these sites developed as ways of simply sharing bookmarks, not sharing, necessarily your own content. They didn't come into being that way. They developed as ways of sharing your favorite things that you find on the web. And in each of those places you have a profile. It's just like, like a Facebook, you have your profile. And then what you can do is you can post links. So one of the most powerful things you can do when you have a blog post is what's called social bookmarking. In other words, you belong to a lot of these bookmarking sites that take different forms. And when you get your blog post done, you go and share them on all of your social bookmarking sites. I just wrote a great blog post, and boom, here it is. Here's the link. Go read it over on my blog. And this does a couple things. All of those sharing sites, you identify your posts with tags. So there are people in, say, Reddit, who are searching for interesting stuff on a certain subject. So they'll enter that in the search term, and because of the tags, pop, your blog post comes up. So one of the things this does is bring people from the social sharing sites to your website that might not have gone there before. Okay? You're easier to find in a place like Reddit, Propeller, Delicious, or one of those, than you are by searching internet marketing or something like that in Google. So, especially if your post becomes, if that particular sharing post becomes popular in the system that it's in, it'll get ranked higher in that system, and you'll get more traffic sort of exponentially as it goes along. So number one, bookmarking brings people from the sites themselves, the bookmarking sites, who are maybe new to your blog, but are at least searching for information that you have on your blog. So it's one way to find new people. Now, the other thing it does is backlinking. We all know Google changed everything with the algorithms like a year and a half ago, last year basically at this time. However, and there are people running around saying on-page SEO doesn't work anymore. There are people saying backlinking doesn't work anymore, and that's all bull. It's all bull. The fact is that everything that used to work before the algorithm changes works now and is important now. It's simply that things are weighted differently. Now, you used to be able to just build a whole bunch of bookmarks from nonsense sites. You can't do that anymore. Backlinks. You could build backlinks from stupid blogs that were just set up to be backlink sites. Okay, but though Google, the new algorithm has ways of checking that out. So number one, backlinking. The main thing about backlinking is you want it to be from a good site, a site that's highly ranked, that has a lot of people going to it. That's what counts. So backlinking still works. So every time you go over and you put a link to your blog on, Reddit or, any of the other ones, even at Facebook particularly, and you say, please come over and visit blah, 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 well, people may come over and see it, but the other thing that happens is you've got a link now into your site from Facebook or from Reddit, and Google likes that. Now, they really like it. I will say they don't like it as much as if somebody else does it. In other words, if I take a link to your site and I put it in my Facebook account, that's going to count more than if you take that link and put it into your Facebook account. Because what the algorithm does now is it crawls right down and it looks at the whole account. And if it sees, you're posting your stuff all the time, it'll say, okay, this guy's posting one of his own links. It's a backlink, but it's not, hugely powerful. If I do it, then that is hugely powerful. So, it's not that these backlinks don't work anymore. They do. It's just that they don't have the kick that they used to, which means you really want to do more of them. All right? Because the more of this stuff you do, the higher ranking your site will get, because it will help draw traffic. It helps the algorithms like know that your site is active. It can even read now that, how much do these different links focus on one kind of subject? Is there a lot of various information there? And, it'll even judge it like that. So the two things it does is it brings new people and it builds backlinks. Now that's social bookmarking. And the problem with it is that it takes a lot of time. So what we ended up talking about last week was automation versus non-automation. And there are things about automation that are positive, and there's things about automation that are not positive. And there's some ways of doing this that work, and there's some ways of doing it that don't work. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm just going to talk to you, show you one form of automation that does work. Now there's ways to automate all of this stuff. There's a piece of software that you can find on the Online Techniques website in the sidebar called Bookmarking Demon. That is a standalone program that takes hours to set up and does all sorts of cool things. Like for instance, what it does is it staggers your distribution. So in other words, if you want to distribute a video, you can tell the software to distribute the video, but you want to do it here on this day, here on that day, here on this day, here on that day, so that it's not all at once. With videos and things, that matters a lot. With what we're going to do tonight, that doesn't matter so much. It's simply the way that Google approaches it and the other search engines approach it that make it matter or not matter. The problem with standalone software is that it chews up your resources in your computer like crazy. It'll be uploading a video in the background while you're trying to work. So unless you've got 3 or 4 computers that you're running, it's probably not a good idea to do it with a standalone system. You don't want to use article submitters anymore that submit to 35 places all at once. Google just looks at that and goes, oh, that's automation. And it'll count the first 7, 8, 10, maybe 14 articles, and then it'll just look at the rest, and it won't be any link juice. So there's different ways to go about this. The standalone programs don't work as well as the web-based programs. Now, I'm going to show you the simplest form of doing this, and it has to do with social bookmarking, because social bookmarking, there's so many things out there that you can, places where you can put content, and it's so simple to do that this is really the basics of getting this idea of what works and what doesn't, and how to automate this kind of stuff. And also, the tool I'm going to show you is the least expensive of the online ways of doing this. You can go to a thing called TubeMogul, for instance, which does video distribution, and it does it well. But if you want a commercial account, an account that leads to any pages that sell anything, then it's $50 a month. And if you want to do more than, I think, 5 places to distribute to, then you're going to be paying $100 a month. If you want to do a certain amount of videos, then you got to go up to the $100 a month account. There's a great tool called Traffic Geyser that distributes to bookmarking sites. It distributes to your blogs. It distributes video to video sites, and it distributes articles. And you can set up all sorts of things at one time and stagger them, over a weeks-long period and everything else. And it's really, really wonderful. But it's $100 a month to use it. So that's not what I wanted to be showing you. I wanted to be showing you something that you can actually do now as a beginning or intermediate blogger that will really spread out your reach. And that thing, whoops, I think I just clicked the wrong thing. Nope, the right thing. That thing is called Onlywire. If you're in Tribe Pro, you're probably already familiar with it. But it's very simple. It's automated bookmarking, so that's all it does is just bookmarking. It's basically your social media automation. And it will automatically now. It used to be you had to go in and put every post in. Now they've even got it set up so you don't even have to do that. You can set up your blog so that every time you post, it will go to 50 social networking sites and automatically be put there. Boom, you don't even have to think about it. So really what you're doing is you're syndicating your blog feed. That part of it works off your blog feed. You can also individually do posts, and I'm going to show you the whole thing, okay? So let me get a thing in the text chat. How many of you are members of Onlywire right now? Give me a yes in the text chat if you are. No? No? Okay. No? Yeah, Jerry is. Okay, cool. Have you noticed the new changes, Jerry? This thing over the last 6 months has really, really changed. Okay. Well then, good. We got a lot of no's because I don't want to just be showing this to people who are already all over it. Because this thing is really cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you right into the back office and show you all of the stuff. These are the places that you can send content to by using Onlywire. Now, that's 50, and they add more all the time. You don't want to necessarily send them to all. For instance, you'll see Newsvine is in there. You don't want to send things to Newsvine for our kinds of purposes. They'll just shut you down. They don't want you posting your own links unless it's to something that absolutely sells nothing, has no links on the site to buy anything, and it's a blog post about current events. Okay, that's what they want to do. That to most of us here, it won't even apply. So, for instance, I don't have that one hooked up. I used to be a member of Newsvine, but I started using it in Onlywire, and boop, they shut my account down really fast. But you can hook up your Facebook page. You can set up Facebook groups that are hooked up to it. You can hook your own Facebook account up to it. All of these places that you see on the screen, you can post to through Onlywire, and you can set your blog up to do it automatically for you. So, it's really pretty simple what you do there. You get your account, and for anybody who's doing this, they have a free trial thing. I would start basic, because it's all based on how many impressions, they call it impressions, that you use during a month. The basic account is 1,000 impressions during the month. Now you got to remember, an impression is every place that it posts a bookmark for you. So if you've got 50 set up, and your blog is set up, 50 services set up, and your blog is set up to automatically post every post, and you put a post up, then within the hour, you will use 50 impressions. Okay? So you could do 20 blog posts in a month with the 1,000, 20, right? 20 goes into 1,000, I believe. I think that's the way it works out. 50 goes in 20 times. Yes. And so you could do 20 blog posts in a month. I'm just terrible at math. And with the 1,000 account. Now the 1,000 impression account costs $13 a month. Now they used to have this thing where it was $10 a month, but you would get CAPTCHAs. A lot of the bookmarking sites have CAPTCHAs that pop up to make sure you're not a robot. So they upped the $10 a month account to $13 a month, and they actually have people in the office now that sit there and monitor things and do the CAPTCHAs for you. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. They used to have a thing called a submitter, where you had to download that into your computer and give it access to the account, and it would actually submit from your IP. They don't do that anymore. They just submit from rotating IPs in their own office. So the submitter is something, if you hear about that, it's gone. It was gone at the beginning of this year. So anyway, I would advise starting with the first account. If you run out of impressions during the month, you can always upgrade to the next account. I think the next one is $24.95 for 2,500 impressions, something like that, or $29.95. And then there's one at $49.95 that's I believe 5,000 impressions for the month. It's really actually very inexpensive when you think of, if you were going to go out there and mount 1,000 links by yourself, what kind of time that would take, what kind of effort that would take. So once you get this set up, it's just, I would start with the basic, and then if you want to blow it up more, you find more need for it, you're blogging on 3 blogs, and you want them all to be distributed, you can always just upgrade your account to the next level. So you want to include the CAPTCHA service. I made this slide before I realized that they got rid of the non-CAPTCHA service completely. Then what you do is you have to set up your services. And your services are all of the things that you want this thing to distribute to. Now, there's going to be a lot of those that you're not a member of, but you're going to want to be a member of them. So you go through your services page, and this is what the setup takes a while. You have to go in, join the service, and then take your username and password and put it in the interface in Onlywire so it can log into your service there. And this usually involves, getting to a certain place in the setup, and then it's going to send you a confirmation email, and you have to confirm through the email before your access codes will work. So this can take up a while. When you're talking about 50 of them, you're probably a member of 5 or 10, right? So this can take a while. Now, just a hint, this is one of the things that we do for people at Online Techniques. We will, if you decide you want somebody to go set up your account for you, we can go do that. So talk to me about that if you want to do that. Onlywire has that same service too. They'll charge you a little more than we will. Then what you want to do is you want to connect your blog feed. Everybody on a WordPress blog has a feed address. It's whatever if you're self-hosted, it's whatever your domain is, .com or .net/feed. And you want to put your feed in there and get it connected so that it will automatically do your posting. And what that does is that every hour, once an hour, Onlywire checks for new content on your blog, and if it finds new content, it distributes it. So if it finds one new blog post, it distributes it. If it finds 2 or 3, it'll distribute all of them. You can, if you're doing 3 blogs, say, through there, you can set up different behavior and different services for each of the 3 feeds. So there's tons of ways to customize this for different situations. And, I basically described the process. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to desktop sharing. And we're going to go inside, and I'm going to show you all around this. So let me pause the video, and we'll come back in desktop sharing. All right, now tell me when you're seeing this. If you're seeing it again, give me a yes. Or if you are seeing the Onlywire page. Okay, very cool, very cool. Oh, well, I'm only half an idiot. This is, the page to get to Onlywire. And, that's what it says. Automatically send your content to 50 social networks. Optimize your bookmarking. Automate your website, blah, blah, blah. And you can actually manage multiple users in the regular account. There's several different accounts that you can get that, go all the way up to hundreds of dollars a month for 100,000 impressions a month. Basically managing lots of different clients' accounts in one place. If you are a member of Tribe Pro at all, a lot of these people at Tribe Pro are spending $500 and $600 a month on bookmarking at Onlywire. The only reason I point that out, I'm not suggesting you need to do that. The only reason I point that out is because, people wouldn't be doing that if it didn't work. So this is highly effective. What you're looking at now is what it looks like when you first log in, when you log into your dashboard. It shows you your recent submission history. Now, we're in an account right now. This is the Online Technique account. This is an account that we don't actually use that much. It's a 1,000 impression account. And this is the dashboard. It gives you a recent submission history, a little overview of your account. You can upgrade it here. You can edit your profile. There's a bunch of help stuff here. This gives me a service alert, and it tells you if any of your services are not working and what you need to do. I don't know why it keeps telling me to reactivate the Facebook hookup, because it's hooked up. Here's the tools that are part of this particular account, and any announcements will come down from down here. Onlywire will keep you up to date on what's going on and things like that. When you come in here, the first thing you need to do is go up to account and go to your profile, and this is where you will just set up your very basics. It'll show you you put in your email address. You'll select an industry. You can hook your Google Analytics account up to this. And you can create an account in Google Analytics called something like Onlywire Submissions. And Google Analytics will, in here, it will show you how many people have visited your submissions at this site, at that site, all over the place. So that you can know where your people are coming from and how many people are clicking on your links that are in Reddit, how many are clicking on links that are in Propeller and places like that. You have to give it access to your Google Analytics user, account and things like that. And everywhere you go, there's switch rate plan. Okay? I'll click that just to show you what they are. And it'll show you, this is I said, this is the 1,000 plan. It's $13 a month. Then I can go up to the 2,500 impression plan for $29.99. I can go up to the 5,000 for $44.99, all the way up to 100,000 for $249.99, and a month. Okay. If I go to an enterprise account where I can have all sorts of different accounts within my account, then they start at $99 a month for 5,000 and goes up to $1,000 a month for 100,000 impressions. So this is why I wanted to show you the simple one, and why I want you to, if you get involved here, do it on the smallest basis, and then just upgrade yourself as you as you go, as you find that it's necessary. They're very clever with the upgrade. They don't give you they don't give you the menu anymore. All right, so this is your profile. Now you can go and look at usage, for instance, which will tell you how many impressions you've used during the month. Like I said, we don't use this one so much. We've used 88 impressions out of the 1,000. There have been 46 submissions, and so this is in the last 7 days, and so this is where you can keep track of what's going on. If you want to pause your whole account, you can click right here, and it'll just pause the account. So if you've got it hooked up to a feed, you can say, okay, there's things that I'm going to be doing that I don't want it to submit. Boom, just click there, and it'll stop it. You can assign different users. You can change your plan. You've got your billing information. When you start out, let's look over here. History. These are some tools you have. The history will show you, number one, what's been completed, and you can look at each one of these, drop it down, and it'll show you all of these have been completed. All of these bookmarks in all of these places were successfully done. Now, if you want to look at which ones bounced, there are no bounced results in here. Okay? But if you do find things that are bounced, and I always check every couple days, you'll find that it says, oh, we had trouble with the service on clipped. Click resend. Try later. So you'll click resend, and it'll put it back in the queue. Sometimes you have problems with sites for weeks, and then the Onlywire will clear it up. Right now, I'm having a big problem with WordPress.org or WordPress.com. Almost nothing is going through to them, and they'll figure it out. And then I'll click resend, and all my bookmarks will go back out. So, after you post a blog, 3 hours later, come in here, look at it, resend the ones that don't go, or it'll tell you there's something wrong with your service setup. The login wasn't accepted, in which case you got to go troubleshoot that yourself, okay? So this is a really cool page. If you find everything's just rebounced because of service stuff, then you can just click here, send all rebounced, boom, and it'll just put them back in the queue. So I spent a lot of time here. Google Analytics. This is where you hook up to Google, and it will show you. You'll see the interface starts to look, well, is it even going to come up? Yeah, it'll come up. It starts to look like Google looks. So what happens is it'll tell you, how many hits you've gotten, or how many clicks have happened on different submissions, and you can look at the traffic sources where, what submission got the click and stuff like that. Monty, it's okay. Guys, we are having thunder and lightning here, and my 180-pound dog is trying to crawl in my lap. And then the tools list simply shows you what different tools are available. You can schedule things using the scheduler. We saw the analytics, and we saw the history. You can create multi-users. You can put the bookmark and share plugin on your website, and give people the opportunity to you use it as a sharing tool, and then if people want to, they can join Onlywire to bookmark and share to all sorts of things. If they do it through your plugin on your website, then they are marked under you, and if they upgrade at any time from the free, then you get the commissions for them. Okay, so that's the tool list. Now, when you start, the first thing you need to do is set up your services. So you go to services, which is under the start menu, and the way you do it, they have it set up very nicely. You simply click on the service, and it will take you there. It'll open up in a new tab, and you can go there, and then you come back and you put your information in like this. Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn do it a little differently. You just have to put in your username and password right here. And, when you get down to, like, Facebook pages, you can add another page. If you want to post from one thing onto 3 or 4 different Facebook pages, you can. Or 3 or 4 different Facebook groups, you can. LinkedIn groups you can create here. Google Plus pages here. And you just go through this whole thing. This can take you hours. But it's well worth it. And when you're done, you click Save My Logins, and you're all set up to go. Now, if you want to do a post, you come here. Now, I'm going to do one post, and I'm just going to do it very quickly. I'm going to go over to Online Techniques, and I'm going to take this 7 Best Practices for Video Marketing. It's a curated post by a guy named Dan Laurie from Adonis, and it's a really good thing. Just takes you to his website. But I'm going to take the address out of the address bar, go right back to here, and this thing is called 7 Best Practices for Video Marketing. All right, that's got a good keyword in it, so I'm just going to go and then I'm going to put an up and down line and put Online Techniques. Okay? And it tells me I've got 56 in here. I don't want any more than 60, so that's good. I'm going to put the URL in here. Okay? I'm going to tell it to use the Onlywire URL shortener, because what it's going to do is, like if in Twitter, you only have 147 characters, so it'll shorten the link for you. And let's say we're going to use video marketing. Let's put a little description. What are the 7 best practices for video marketing? What's the guy's name? Dan Laurie. Did I spell that right? L-A-U-R-Y. Laurie. In this great article. Okay? That's all I'm going to do. And I don't want to get over, too many here. And it'll tell you, a brief description. But you want to keep this down to like you would do for a Google description. And then you can add tags in here simply by, let's just say, video. Now, you need space-separated tags. So, video marketing, and then hit enter. Boom. Wait a minute, they changed that too. Watch this. Hit enter. There, it's doing it by itself now. I love these people because they update everything all the time. That's new from the last time I saw it. Okay, video marketing. Let's put in Online Techniques. We'll put in me. Then we'll put in, what's his name? Oh, yeah. Dan Laurie, and, okay. And then we'll put in internet marketing. Now, you saw it was giving me suggestions because I've done this before, okay? It keeps track of all the tags you've ever used, and you can do that. Then I would go here and I'd put it in a category, right? So this one could go either under technology or business. I think it's probably, let's put it in business. Services to post, I can say all of them. Now these are all the ones I have turned on in this account. If I have more, then more would show up. But the others are not turned on in this account. Or I can say none, and then I can choose individual services. you know. As it is, I'm going to say all for this one. This includes my online techniques page. If I want to, I can click here and I can schedule it to send later. This is if I'm doing a lot of posting and I want to spread it out over a few days. I'm doing, 10 blog posts in 2 days and I want to spread it out over a week, then that might be a smart thing to do. But I'm just going to do this all at once. I'm just going to say post. And there we go. The content will be delivered by Onlywire, and it's usually done within the next 15 minutes. Okay, it's all done. Now, if you want to automate this, is that simple, guys, or what? You can do an advanced post. Now, if you're doing a lot of these and you want to spend some more time making sure you get a little bit more link juice out of these, you can go in here and do them all individually. So you put the URL in, and then what you do is you go in and you vary the description a little bit. And then you tell it a different time to send it. And you go through all the services and you spread it out maybe over a 2-week period. That really ramps up your link juice. But most of us are doing this because we want to save time. This still saves time, but it's a lot more time consuming than doing what I'm going to show you now. Now we're going to go to feeds. This is what most of you want to do when you first set this up. You'll come in here and you'll just put the feed address of your blog. I've got a practice blog called SteveGaghagen.net, and the feed address would be SteveGaghagen.net/feed. And I'm just going to tell it to add that. Hello. Okay, it wants me to pick tags for this, so I could go through my big list here, or I can just put internet marketing training. Oh, these are space separated. Sorry. Internet marketing training. Gaghagen, create income from home. Whatever things that you might use with your blog, you would put right there. Now you can set it down here to post to all current and future services, or you can, once again, customize that. Let's just say post to all. I'd want to put it in the business category, and I'd tell it to save. And it will tell me, boop, it's added it. Your content will be delivered by the Onlywire shortly. Now, I don't want it to deliver the content that's on there, so I'm going to dump it right now. I'm just going to pause it. Okay, so I can delete it if I want to, and I can put all sorts of feeds here. Anything that I want to post from. But anytime something new goes on these, it's going to go out and it's going to post whatever services you have it set up for. Okay, so that is Onlywire. That's the basics of Onlywire, and we're going to go back into the room now. Okay, so hold on for a second. We're going to stop sharing and get back into the room. Cool. So everybody, that is Onlywire. It's really, really simple. And if you do that a few times, suddenly you've got 150 backlinks to your blog post. You've got other people coming from the sources at Onlywire. And this is how I would really recommend that you get started distributing your content, because it makes it so much easier and it makes it so much more powerful. You can talk about getting involved in big things later, but $13 a month to get your content out there that easily and that quickly after they're doing the one-time setup is just really huge. You'll get much more traffic. You'll get much more stuff going on your blog. If you've made your blog the right way and you put your StatPress stuff in there and your Google Analytics, you will see traffic almost immediately from these things. When a post, when a bookmark goes out, you'll pick up people right away who will find it in the new post, what just came up. Some of these services, people sit there and watch the page go by. Boom, boom, new one, new one, new one, new one, new one, new one, new one. The news feed is like anything that's going on in the whole service, filtered by their keywords. So, boom, boom, immediately, within 15 minutes, you'll see visitors to your website. As long as you got something interesting and you've got the right keywords in there that point this stuff to the right people, you'll see people right away. Anybody got any questions? Hey, Linda. Yeah. You can, if you've got two different like audiences from one blog post, you can do that. You'd have to post manually and not use the feed. But yeah, you just go ahead and take your blog post, and then it's the tags that you want. And you can do, set up just certain services on one post, certain services on the other. I don't really understand why you do that, because all of these places, except for maybe Newsvine and maybe Sonico, have people with all sorts of interests in them. So you got to remember, you're not posting out there. You're just bookmarking out there. So if you put your post up on your blog focused on one group of people, I don't see why you shouldn't bookmark it on all the sites. And then a post focused on a different group of people, bookmark it on all the sites. I don't understand why you'd need to do that. But yeah, you could do that. Now, if you want to get this, guys, I'm just going to ask you to get it through us. So you can go to onlinetechniques.net/onlywire. You can sign up for a free trial. I think it's 7 days, and then upgrade to the 1,000 thing. That's $13 a month. It's the best way to do it. And if you need help with it, just yell at me. I'll be glad to help you with it. It's kind of, it can be kind of clunky sometimes because it is a complicated system. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You don't want to post to health Facebook groups about internet marketing. Right. Well, you can definitely do that. You can, every time you post something, if you're doing it on the feed, you can't do that. But if you're you might put one group, like your health stuff. If you post more in the health area of things, you might want to put that on the feed, hooked up to the health Facebook groups, and then when you do an internet marketing thing, go in and post it individually, and do that to the internet marketing groups. So yeah, that makes complete sense then. I understand. So, or if they're from two different blogs, then you just set up two different feeds and set them up in two different ways. But yeah, you can do it either way there. So that's it for Onlywire. If you need help with it, just shout at me. You know where to find me. All my stuff is on the screen. Okay? Not anymore. I just took it off. Saturday, it's Janet and Don time. Janet, we are very close to the end of the hour. You want to tell us what's going on Saturday? You probably don't know what the heck is going on Saturday. With everything that's going on with you. You want to take the microphone, or you want to just move on? It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Okay. Well, there will be something at Janet and Don. Janet and Don are waiting to become grandparents twice. We got everybody having babies at just about the same time. So things are kind of hectic up there in the wild, woolly north. So something about growing, that would be good, or planting your seeds or something. I don't know. Yeah. So Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The place to be for anybody interested in marketing online is with Janet and Don at Get Live Training. The best instructors with the best information. I know I'm going to be there to find out just exactly what the hell it's going to be. All right. Next week, we have something really cool for you next week. All right. How many of you people have noticed SEO Presser has changed? Give me a yes in the text chat. if you notice that. Okay? SEO Presser did a huge, first of all, it's the one plugin that everybody should have. Okay? Everybody needs this thing. And it went along for 3 years being just, the granddaddy of all SEO plugins. And it was just a wonderful thing. And then they did an upgrade. This year, version 5 came out, and it is so much more. It does so much more. It can optimize your posts so much more. However, because it's so much more, it can be so much more intimidating and confusing, especially if you did things like buy the new one and then go to my training video and find out, whoa, that thing don't look the same at all. What the heck's going on here? There must be a different thing. And yes, there is. Okay? It's absolutely incredible. It's, Daniel Tan knows what he's doing. He's been around for years and he knows exactly what he's doing, even if he talks funny. But the truth is, this thing is amazing. And what we're going to do next week is we're going to update our SEO Presser training. We're going to do it live right here. I'm going to explain to you what all that new brouhaha is in your back office if you got the thing and thought you were getting the old one. It's worth getting. And by the way, they're having a sale on it right now. It's not $97 for the unlimited license. It's $77. So, if you want to get it before next week, go to the address you see on the screen. And, my advice is always to get the unlimited one. The difference between 47 and 77, to be able to use it forever in any blog you want, is not worth talking about. It's best to get the big one. And the whole way it's downloaded and installed and the whole way you add sites to it and everything else is all different. And it can optimize for 3 keywords instead of 1, and it explains LSI keywords to you. And we'll go through all of this next week at the same time. So I want to invite everybody to join us then. Thank you for being here. I will stick around. If there's any questions left in the room, we can discuss them afterwards. But I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm going to stop things for the purpose of the video. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something in our 3-part series. And if you have questions about that stuff, you know where to contact me as well. So thank you for being here. Join us next week for SEO Presser, what's new in version 5. Have a great evening, everybody. And I'll see you online. Thanks for coming.